Good morning, Covenant fam. Man, is it early? Like super early. Anyway, I know it's been a minute. I know y'all probably hate me to say that. Jesus. Y'all like, girl, we sick of it. But things are just getting like more and more out of control as far as like scheduling. It's driving me nuts. And I almost am burnt out. But I could do it. I could hang in there. I still got a little bit more time. It's just this new life is kind of draining the life out of me. And I'm tired all the time, like even more than I was before. So anyway, I don't know how long this video is going to be because I'm pretty sure my phone is going to tell me that I'm out of storage. So if it cuts off, I'll most likely have to go live for this. But anyway, first things first, I do have to put a disclaimer on my videos now. And before I wasn't too worried about it because you guys know that I am a driver for Covenant. So it's not like I'm portraying to be someone else or be the company itself, but because I do use the old school logo for my YouTube channel, and I do have certain things that I speak about, about the company and things like that. I do have to put a disclaimer that my videos and everything that I do on my channel has nothing to do with Covenant. Like, this I'm not affiliated with Covenant's communications department or their PR department or anything like that. This is my personal blog and vlog channel. So I don't claim to know everything there is to know about Covenant or their exact policies and getting everything correct. I'm speaking on my experiences and the things that I do know and how things used to be. So, Covenant has nothing to do with the videos or the information that I put out. So just so that you guys know, and that way I can't get in trouble for, basically speaking on certain things and they're like, oh, you're putting misinformation about the company. So, I do have to let you guys know that. So I will go on about why I started this video in the first place. Excuse me. Home time. Home time is the big thing that a lot of us get questions about and a lot of us want to know. And Covenant is, I want to say, like any typical company that, does OTR, whatever, they do a minimum of 2 weeks out. I did hear it's supposed to go a minimum of 3 weeks out. So each week that you're out, you gain a day off. So you're out 1 full week. That means you got a day off in your bank. And then you're out 2 weeks and you got 2 days in your bank. Now there is something in the Covenant app that will tell you how many days you have available for you to take off the road, to have your days off. The thing with that is that even though it says that you have 42 days available and your available days off, you will not, I repeat, you will not be able to take all those days at the same time. So they do that so that way You're not just taking off all these days consecutive, and then that doesn't give other drivers a chance for them to take off. And I know some of you are thinking, so what? First come, first serve. Yeah, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. So how it works is, like I said, every week that you work and every week that you're out, you gain a day off. You stack those days for as long as you want. The max amount of days you can take off is 7 days, period. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you need additional days to be home, that has to go to the floor supervisors and I believe the VP of operations. They're the ones that decide if you can have additional days. They will only give you an additional 1 to 3 days. So you can have a maximum of 8 to 10 days off consecutive. But once you hit that 7th day, you have to get permission from a floor supervisor or the VP of operations in order to have additional time off. And it depends on what they deem worthy or not, you know. Once you have that, if you need anything longer than 10 days, you will lose your truck. Okay? The trucks can't sit for more than 10 days without being used. If the wheels are not turning, you're not earning. So nobody makes money if that truck is not moving. So you don't make money, obviously, because you're at home. The company don't make money, shippers, receivers, nobody makes money because they're not moving freight, okay? Everything is like tied together in a link. And if one of those links is missing, then, you know, it's on hold, it's on standstill. So, they don't allow the trucks to sit more than 10 days. Doesn't matter who you are, how long you've been with the company, seniority, what fleet you're on, it doesn't matter what account you're on, they don't care. And I'm not saying they don't care as in like they're being mean. I'm saying they don't care as in like it's blank across the board. Everybody gets treated the same. So home time, it's all just one slate. There is no up, down, or wiggle room or anything like that. Everybody gets treated the same. What I used to do, some of you already know this, I would stay out 6 weeks when I first started, and this is with me having my marriage and me having our kids and all this stuff, and my husband being home. They would sacrifice 6 weeks away from me and me not coming home for 6 weeks, and then I would be home for an entire week. So I would be out 6 weeks, I would go home, I would spend 7 days. They don't count that 7th day because it's kind of like, you know, when your hours of service, that 8th day falls off. So as long as you're back that 7th day before midnight, you're not counted as like taking a full 7 days, if that makes sense. So that's what I used to do, and it used to work for us. It sucked, but I did that for, man, like two and a half years. I did that, and then I got on Wildcats. I used to stay out still, like, you know, 6 weeks. Then I would come home for a week, and I think I did that for like another half a year, and then I started running Wildcats, and I got put on a dedicated with my co-driver now, and I'm home now every week. So if you put in the time, and I've said this plenty of times, you put in the time, you do what needs to be done, and if an account opens up, you know, and you are the best fit for it, your fleet team will message you and say, hey, look, we got this account, do you want it? You know, and a lot of our accounts are starting to go towards like home time lanes, that not all of them. So don't be like, oh, you know, we're going to get a home time lane. No, okay, didn't say that. I said a lot of them are starting to lean towards that because They know that it keeps drivers because they want to be home, but yet they still want to make, pretty good money. And most dedicated routes do make pretty good money because it's the same set of miles every week. So it works out. And then, you could be home with your family every week, and then you don't have to worry about staying out and being gone for, weeks on end. But all that takes time. You have to earn that spot. You have to earn those type of lanes. And, some get lucky because of the area they live in. So they might just be new to the company, and there's a home time lane that's open, that's in their area. And if they're fit for it, have all their endorsements that are required, they're going to be approached with that account first. It's not based off of seniority at that point. It's just based off of convenience, to be honest. So some drivers get lucky, and other drivers still, have to wait and put in their time. So it's just one of those things that's luck of the draw. But they do what's fair. And there are probably people out there that feel like, no, they don't, and blah, blah, blah. It just depends. Again, if you're one of those difficult, like hard to deal with drivers, yeah, they're not going to accommodate you as much as you would like them to because you're a difficult driver. So it's one of those things. And like I said, you could be who you are, but you can't complain on what kind of response or actions you get back if, you're the one that's not really being cooperative or whatever. I'm more or less the type of driver that's, give me what you got. You got a lane you need me to run, it's 300 miles, fine, I'll take it. Knock that out, boom, next one. I'm not one of those drivers that's like 300 miles. 300 miles is still 300 miles regardless. It's going to be based off of your pay rate. And, sometimes you got to start at the bottom and take the crumbs. You know what I mean? That's how it works. And a lot of drivers don't feel that they should have to go through that. And a lot of them are like the vet drivers that are like, I've been in this for 10 years. Are you going to give me, a 450 mile run? Like, yeah, we are. Because, Covenant's forced dispatch. You don't get to tell them what you're going to do. They tell you what to do, So, it's just that kind of stuff. But you buy your time, do what you need to do, have good, service record, good customer service, and they know about all that stuff. And trust me, customers will tell Covenant like, oh, your driver that came in to get load blah blah blah. The CSRs, they talk to these companies, so they'll tell them which drivers dirty their yards or their property, or let their pets out to use the bathroom and don't pick up their pet's mess, or stuff like that. They will tell them. And just because Covenant doesn't say nothing don't mean that they don't know. So, just be a good person, be on your best behavior. I say that all the time. Be a good person, be a good person. And sometimes we have to be good people, even though other people aren't being good to us, so that we can kind of change the rotation of things. If you deal with bad crap, and then, a little good is trickled in there, and then more bad crap, and then more trickled, good stuff. After a while, it's going to end up being good. You just have to continue on with it and not go back to bad crap, and then you have to start all over again. So anyway, the home time lanes are really good. I don't like the repetitiveness of it. That is something that I will say the only thing that gets me is to me, it's nothing new, nothing changes. But some people like that set schedule so that they know what to expect. And they know like where they're going to stop. They know what time they're going to get there. They can plan for these things. I'm more of I want a challenge. I want something new. I want something different. And it just, like I said, it depends on the type of person or driver that you are. If you like to keep a tight schedule and maintain it, and kind of have the repetition of like knowing what's coming, then dedicated is for you. If you don't like that and you just get so bored and you're like, oh Jesus, give me something else, dedicated is not for you. I would stay OTR, to be honest. But everybody's situation is different. So a lot of us have to sacrifice a lot of stuff to fit our situation. Like for me, I have to be home. So even though I don't like the dedicated run because it's just boring for me, I suck it up and I do it so I can be home every week, because it's important for me to be home for my family and my kids. They're getting older, and with this one coming and all this other stuff, I just have to make sure that I'm available to my husband and my kids and all that stuff. And they put in the sacrifices and the time in the beginning of my driving career in order for me to get to this point. So it works for us. So I sacrifice me being bored out of my skull to run the load and the lane, and then make it home every week because I like being home every week. So like I said, it just depends. So that's my sacrifice for my family, as they sacrificed for me in the beginning when I would be out 6 weeks and home a week. So now it's my turn to sacrifice my boredom for me to be home for them every week. So it's kind of like a give and take, or a compromise, or whichever. So it works out. Now, home time with a co-driver, and majority of the fleet is team, because that's what Covenant advocates for. So that's what we have to deal with, right? Home time as a team, they require you to be no more than 250 miles away from your co-driver as far as living. 250 miles, that's roughly like 4 or 5 hours, give or take, away from your co-driver. So it would be ideal to be within that range from your co-driver. That doesn't always happen. So it makes it difficult for home time. You have to figure out a way for you to be teamed with someone that you vibe with, but yet you guys work out a deal for home time, because Covenant will not pay for you to go home, and they will not pay for you to come back. So if you guys are flying and you're expecting a reimbursement, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They used to have certain parameters. I don't know if they still do, but they used to have certain parameters that they would cover at least half the cost, or whatever the cost of a bus ticket would be. So if your bus ticket is going to be, $110, and you take a flight that's $220, you're only going to get $110 back. So they will cover half of whatever way that you went home. They don't do reimbursements for car rental. They don't, because car rentals are expensive, and their rates vary depending on where you're going, how long you're going to have the car, and all that other stuff. So for it to be more beneficial, you need to have a co-driver that lives within that miles range, the mile radius of 250 miles. And that way Covenant can get you guys a load to that area, and somebody drop somebody off, and then bobtail the rest of the way, and vice versa. And I'm trying to think of what else. You can team with someone else that does not live in your area, live in completely different states, but like I said, you have to be able to cover those costs for you to get home. It's how it's going to be. Now you can, if you don't have an obligation to be home and you're one of those drivers that could be anywhere, then you can, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank now. Oh, you can, take home time at your co-driver's place. So let's say that one lives in Florida, the other one lives in Oklahoma. Oklahoma decides to take home time, and you guys have to take home time together. The Covenant won't keep you guys out separately because it messes up your clocks. Because one's eating the clock away while they're driving, while the co-driver's at home. And when the co-driver comes back from home time, one driver's not going to have the hours because they've been driving. So normally they don't do that. When one's down, you're both down. Which kind of works out, because if you have a good co-driver, you guys can already work out your dates. And, you know, if you have a good co-driver, you'll compromise. And whatever dates that they choose or you choose, hopefully it'll work out in your guys' favor. But that's why you guys discuss that. And Covenant doesn't care what days you take off or whatever, as long as you put the time in and they have the available trucks to stay out for their lanes during that time, they'll approve it. And as long as you have the days reserved in your bank. So, let's say Florida decides to take time off. If Oklahoma's never been to Florida and they don't have to go home, but they aren't going to be able to work, so go home time with Florida and park your truck at a local truck stop or whatever, and Florida can go home and be with their family, and then Oklahoma can travel and sightsee and, you know, be a foodie, go try different restaurants, go to the beach. Go to the beach and enjoy themselves while the co-driver's at home. Or sometimes, you know, co-drivers invite their co-drivers home to meet their families and this and that. Like I said, it all depends on who your co-driver is, and, you know, if you guys are cool like that. If not, then that's fine. Just be like, hey, I'm going to take home time. We can find somewhere to park the truck in the middle, and we cover our own costs to go the other halfway home. Or, you know, if one of you doesn't mind flying the whole entire way, you know, park the truck in Oklahoma and the other one fly to Florida. It just depends on how you work it out. Whatever your situation or your funds are looking like, you're able to do that. And as long as you guys have a set plan, Covenant's good. Where it becomes a problem is when drivers start complaining, well, I can't afford to do it this way anymore. My co-driver's not cooperating with me. They don't want to meet halfway. They want to keep, you know, making it convenient for themselves. And it becomes, you know, a conflict. And Covenant has to come in and settle it. That's why they have it set to where, you know, it has to be 250 miles in order to make it even, because, you know, one will get dropped off, the other one will bobtail the rest of the way home. And and that's another thing. When you're on home time, you're responsible for the truck. So I said this in the live that I did for the Baby It's Cold Outside. I had a few subscribers that were on during that time. And we got in a conversation about the truck and all that. And it's my co-driver. I'll call her back in a second. So anyway, once you are responsible for that truck and you're going on home time, you need to be able to park that truck somewhere where it's going to be safe. Because Covenant not going to cover the cost or the charge for, they're not going to cover the cost or the charge for parking tickets, for vandalism to the truck being broken into, towing fees, storage fees. They're not going to be responsible for all that stuff. So you have to make sure that you have a good place to park it. You're not going to get no city tickets for, being code enforcement coming and putting tickets on the windows, and you're responsible for all that. They're trusting you to be responsible with the truck. So you just have to make sure that you have a place to park it. So you guys need to discuss that too, about who's going to take the truck home. If you guys want to take turns or whatever, make sure that you have a place to put it, that it's going to be safe and it's going to be fine. And when you're on home time, our fuel cards are turned off. They will not allow you to get fuel if you're going on home time, because they don't want you rolling around in the truck using their fuel money to fuel the truck for you to be driving it around like it's your car. They won't do that. So you better have money saved up for an Uber or a Lyft, something like that. If you're in a place where you have friends or family, have them come and swoop you up. You guys can all go and hang out, spend time together and all that stuff. But they're not going to allow you to be fueling up the truck just to be joyriding and bobtailing around. They don't do that. I'm not sure if they allow you to use personal conveyance while you're on home time. So that is something you might want to ask your fleet managers, because I do not know. I hardly ever use personal conveyance. I maybe used it like twice in my whole career driving. So, and those both times I was still out on the road, and it wasn't during home time. I've always had my own car, and I make sure that I park it somewhere where I have access to it, if I'm in those areas. Let me see. Oh my God, Pomona. Oh, I used to park my car in Pomona, and anytime I was in Pomona, I had my vehicle for me to roll around and do what I had to do. So when I was on home time, I never had to worry about personal conveyance or anything like that. I had my car. So, that's just how it is. Same thing for Barstow. I park my car in Barstow, and I drive. We run our load, and when we come back in on that Monday, I get in my truck, and if I want to stay and hang around Barstow for a little bit, I do that, or I drive straight home sometimes. So it just depends, but I make sure that I have my car somewhere to where I have access to it, and I don't have to worry about, needing the truck or personal conveyance. Even if I did, I wouldn't be able to do that because my co-driver continues on. So obviously she's going to be in the truck. But yeah, so just make sure that you guys are aware of, where you're putting it, having things in order, having the funds and the money to go and do things, taking home time with your co-driver. If you guys don't require home time, even if you guys do want time off, you want 2 days, or you want to do a reset, and you guys, neither one of you have to be home, you don't have a lot of obligations, not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you guys want to take home time in different states, you can do that too. So let's say that Florida and Oklahoma, neither one of you really have a reason to go back to those states during home time. You can do your home time in New Mexico and go and hang out together over there. Park your truck, get a Lyft or Uber. You guys sightsee around New Mexico. Then you guys go back to work, and you work 2-3 full weeks, and then you got a couple days, 3 days off. You guys decide that you want to go to Colorado. You set your home time for Colorado. You park your truck, and you guys go around. So that's a way for you guys to be able to travel and see different things and not have to worry about being under a load or things like that. So as long as you have a good schedule and you know what you guys are allowed and aren't allowed to do, then you guys are golden. So that's what I would do if I didn't have any obligations, no family or anything, and it was just me and I had a co-driver that was the same way. I would be all over. I'd take home time in New York. I'd take home time in Florida and Maine, Washington, Oregon. I would travel to each state and just be like, yep, I'm putting in my home time and do what I gotta do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I missed, you guys. Like I said, home time is a really, really big thing, and we get asked that question a lot. But if you guys have any questions for me in regards to home time, what happens if my co-driver has an appointment and I don't, it just depends on how many days your co-driver is going to be down. Sometimes Covenant will keep you working in that area. If it's only going to be like a day or so, they'll give you something super local if they have anything. But it is slow right now, you guys. It is super slow around the holidays. So winter time and stuff like that, it does slow down. I'm not saying that we're not going to have loads or anything like that, but this is part of our slow season. And Christmas, it's kind of a little bit of both. They usually have loads because people buying Christmas gifts and things like that. So obviously we have to, get them shipped and everything. But the warehouses and line haul staff, they're all at home. So a lot of the terminals are going to be dark. The loads are already going to be preset. And once those loads are assigned, then there's going to be nothing else really. But Covenant will let you know how many trucks they need to stay out, and if you don't mind staying out. And sometimes they do bonuses. Sometimes they do bonuses. So it just depends. I know that we used to do a lot of bonuses back in the day. But sometimes Covenant would take a hit because, they ended up having to come out a lot of money because shippers and receivers weren't holding up their end of the deal. And a lot of our trucks had stayed out. So it just depends. But if you don't mind and you don't have anything special that you would like to do, or you'd rather have the New Year off than actually Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, then I would say, to stay out and see what's there. But like I said, Covenant will let you know what freight's looking like and if they need you to stay out. So whoever put in for their home time early, I'm sure that it's been approved already. Your fleet managers will let you know that. For us, we're taking Christmas off because, we've got kids, and she's got grandkids and I got kids that, we want to be at home. And then we're working on New Year's, because my husband and I really don't do anything for New Year's, and neither do the kids. We don't go out because of, all the drunk drivers and the shootings and all that stuff and the gunfire in the sky. And we're just like, no, we just rather stay home. And so I'd rather be out working during that time, and then we just celebrate when I come home and it's a new year. So we just do it like that. Oh Lord, this girl is making me nauseous so bad. So on that note, guys, I gotta go. But if you have any questions, let me know. I know some of you have commented on some of my other videos and I haven't been able to respond just yet. I will get to them. I apologize for not getting to them sooner. But I will get to them and I will respond. My apologies. I just haven't really had my energy and everything else. So I'm hoping that after all this stuff goes away, I'll be back to my spunky, energetic self. I need to feel like me again. So, like I said, Lord. Yeah, we think it's a girl because I did not go through this with my boys. I did not go through this with my boys at all. So, but I'll confirm and I'll let you guys know for sure, for sure. And you guys will take this journey with me because, you know, I'm still working and I'll be out here until she's here. So there's nothing else, guys. I am going to go on that note. So until next time, bye.